Hello friends, so today I will be narrating a story of O. Henry. It is titled The Gift of Magi. $1.87, that was all. She had put it aside 1 cent and then another in a careful buying of meat and other food. Della counted it for 3 times. $1.87 and the next day would be Christmas. There was nothing to do just to fall on the bed and cry. So Della did it. While the lady of the home is slowly growing quieter, we can look at the house. Furnished rooms at a cost of $8 a week, there is little more to say about it. In the hall below, there is a letter box, too small to hold a letter. There is an electric bell that couldn't make a sound. Also, there is a name besides the door, Mr. James Dillingham Young. When the name was placed there, Mr. James Dillingham Young was being paid $30 a week, and now when he's been paid $20 a week, the name seems to be too long and too important. It should perhaps have been Mr. James D. Young. But when Mr. James Dillingham Young entered the furnished rooms, his name became even short indeed. Mrs. James Dillingham Young called him Jim. You already met her. She's Della. Della finished crying and cleared the marks of it from her face. She stood at the window and looked out with no interest. Tomorrow would be Christmas and she had only $1.87 with which to buy Jim a gift. $1.87. She had many happy hours planning something nice for him. Something really good. Something almost worth the honor of belonging to him. There was a looking glass in between the windows of the room. It was very narrow. A person could see a little of himself at a time. However, if he was thin and moved very quickly, he might be able to get a good view of himself. Della, being quite thin, she had mastered this art. Suddenly, she moved from the window and stood before the glass. Her eyes were shining brightly, but the face lost the color. Quickly, she pulled down her hair and let it fall to its complete length. Mr. James Dillingham Young was very proud of two things which he owned. One was his old watch that had once belonged to its father and long ago it had belonged to its father's father, and other was Della's hair. If a queen could have lived in the rooms near theirs, Della would have washed and dried her hair from where Queen could see it. Della knew her hair was more beautiful than any other queen's jewels and gifts. If a king had lived in the same room with all its riches, Jim would have looked at its watch every time they met because Jim knew no king had such a thing that was so valuable. So now Della's beautiful hair fell about her, shining like a falling stream of brown water. It reached below her knee. It almost made itself into a dress for her. And then she puts it upon her head again, quickly and nervously. She wears her old brown coat and her hat, and then she quickly runs out of the house, down the street where she stopped. The sign said, Mrs. Safroni Hair Articles of all kinds. Up to the second floor, Della ran and stopped to take a breath. Mrs. Safroni, too large, white, cold-eyed, looked at her. Will you buy my hair? Della asked. I buy hair, said Mrs. Safroni. Take your hat off. Let me look at it. $20, said Mrs. Safroni, lifting the hair to feel its weight. Give it to me quick, Della said. Della collected the money and ran from one shop to the other to find a good gift for Jim. And finally, she found it. It had that rich and pure material, and Della knew Jim should have it. It was made for Jim and no one else. And it had the qualities that Jim had: quietness and value. It was a gold watch chain. She paid $21 for it, and she hurried home with the chain and 87 cents. Though his old watch was fine, it never had that fine chain. He sometimes took it out and looked at it only when no one could see him to do it. When Della arrived home, Her mind quieted a little. She began to think more reasonably. She started to cover all the marks for what she has done. Within 40 minutes, she looked even better. With her short hair, she looked wonderfully like a schoolboy. She stood at the window for a long time. At 7, Jim's dinner was ready for him. Jim was never late. Della took the watch and sat near the door from where he always entered. She heard his footsteps coming in and her face lost the color. Della always said some small prayers about everyday things, and now she said, "Please God, make him think that I am still pretty." The door opened and Jim stepped in. He looked very thin. He was not smiling. A poor fellow. He was only 20 and a family to take care of. He needed a coat and he had nothing to cover his old hands. Jim stopped inside the door. He was quiet as a hunting dog when it is near the bird. His eyes looked strangely at Della. There was no expression in them. So Della could understand it. It filled her with fear. Della went to Jim and said, "Jim dear," she cried, "don't look at me like that. I have cut my hair and sold it. I couldn't have lived through this Christmas without giving you the Christmas gift. You don't know what a wonderful gift I have brought for you." "You have cut off your hair?" Jim said silently, looking around. "You don't have to look around. My hairs are gone now. Don't you like me now? I am still me. I am still pretty. Maybe the hairs of my head would be counted, but no one could ever count my love for you, Jim. It's the day before Christmas, Jim. Let's have our dinner." For 10 seconds, let's look into other direction. $8 a week or $1 million a year. How different are they? A person could answer you, but he will be wrong. The Magi brought gift for the other, but it was not amongst them. My answer will be given to you soon. From his coat, Jim removed something wrapped in the white paper. "I want you to understand me, Della," he said. "Nothing like a haircut will make me love you any less. But if you open that, you will know how I felt when I entered." White fingers pulled off the paper, then cry of joy, and then that changed into tears. For there lays the combs that Della had seen in the shop windows and loved it for a long time. Beautiful comb. She knew that the combs had cost much. She never thought of owing it. And now, when the comb were hers, but her hair was gone, then she takes the comb and puts it against her heart and looks up to Jim and said, "My hair will grow soon, Jim." Jim had not seen his beautiful gift yet. She opens her hand and shows it to him. The gold chain seems to be shining with her own warmth and loving spirit. "Isn't it perfect, Jim? Have hunted all over the town to search this for you. Give me your watch. I want to see how they look together." Jim sat in silence and smiled. "Della," he said, "let's put our Christmas gift away and keep them away for a while. They are too nice to use as of now. I sold the watch to get the money so that I could borrow the combs for you. And now I think we should have our dinner." The Magi, as you know, were the wise men. Wonderful wise men who brought gift for the newborn Christ child. They were the first to give the Christmas gifts. Being wise, their gifts were doubtless wise ones. And here I have told you story of two children who were not wise. Each had sold the gift in order to their valuable things in order to buy gift for the others. At last, let me say a few words. For those who give gifts, these are the wise ones. For those who give and receive gift, those too are the wise ones. Everywhere they are the wise ones. They are the Magi. Thank you.